Hello and welcome back to Disco Elysium. This is yet another taping and not a stream, but it should be a short one and the streams should resume soon. But just to tide us over, one last recording. So last time we went to sleep and ended the day after failing a skill check, trying to listen into, well, the whole of silence or whatever it is called. And there's Kim. Let's see what we can do today.
Yes?
Wait, trying to smell Kim? I don't know if that's a... whatever.
The lieutenant's posture becomes rigid and uncomfortable as you lean forward and sniff the area just above his shoulder blade.
Yeah, I think that was probably a weird choice.
The lieutenant is fastidious as a cat in matters of his personal upkeep. And yet, in the folds of his jacket, you can just perceive the stale and acrid traces of oil rags, transmission fluid, and brake pads.
Did you have to repair his car or something?
Wait. There's something else there. Something that sets your GABA receptors aflutter. The lieutenant's aftershave, a common drugstore brand. Strong hints of pine needle. But what sort of ideological picture do these smells paint? Tough to say.
Do you need something, detective?
I was just wondering what brand of aftershave you used. Just as I suspected. You know, Lieutenant, you're a mechanic. Nah, we're good.
Alright then.
Okay.
A moment passes. The lieutenant glances at the sports watch on his wrist.
Okay. So, let's head back into the city proper. And, let's see what we can do there. I think we could, we were in the abandoned place down there with the ice cream maker. We could try, our hands at the, bottom part of the furnace again. I think that could maybe work. Or we could just get some more information about reality from Joyce. But either way, that's gonna take us back to the city proper. So I'm gonna go there right away. Whoops, what's this? Seems the walker was either very confused or drunk out of his mind. The walker? Okay. Sure. Oh. When the driver got out of the car, I get it. And, yes. As we have since confirmed that was me, most likely. Alright. Let's see. We could also check back in with the store here if there's anything else we can glean from conversations with that guy. Anything else? We looked through that. Do you have anything else to say, shopkeep?
Hello. Let me know if I can help you with anything.
Oh, right. Do you know anything about the traffic menace on the loose? Because we found that, I think, after we spoke to him. Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Traffic? I'm sorry, officer, but I don't drive.
But didn't you hear it when the traffic menace drove over your roof?
Now that I think about it, I do remember hearing a thunderous noise the other night. Some kind of powerful electric vortex hitting the shop, and then moving on.
That sure narrows down our list of suspects.
A vortex sounds fascinating. Does that mean you don't have any idea who the driver was?
He shakes his head, slowly.
Alright. I think for now, what do we have here? Is there anything else here?
Wow, a very large red t-shirt with an impressive print stands out from the other garb.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah, the print depicts a muscled man striding toward you, a giant sword in each hand, encircled by burning embers. Behind him is a cluster of cabins engulfed in flames. Beneath him are the words, Hyundai burning. The antlers on the hood of the man's cloak and his piercing blue eyes are familiar.
Why do I want to sniff everything today? Sure, let's do
Smells like worn cotton and a little old sweat there.
it. Okay.
Worn cotton with a side of flea market or trash bin.
Sniffing is okay, but please don't try anything on. Can't have you leaving your photon emissions in the fabric of things you're not going to buy.
What's the deal with the man on this t-shirt?
It's the man from Hendal.
Walking away from his burning village. Yes.
I'm guessing I'm supposed to know who this man from Hjemdal is, but I lost my memory recently and need help remembering basic facts about reality.
Huh?
Never mind, tell me more about this man from Hjemdal.
The man from Helmdal is the hero of a series of popular books based on a fictional version of Kotla, mostly what is nowadays Arda NFD. In fact, most people don't think that man from Helmdal ever really existed, but they are wrong.
Hendal isn't a real place.
Neither is the man a real man, of course. But both the man and Helmdal are an ontological necessity. But hey, it's not worth getting into an argument about.
Wow. What?
What did you mean the man from Hjemdal was real?
I mean, even if the man from Helmdal didn't exist before the adventure novels, the stories have made it so that he has. It's simple, really.
Okay.
He sounds incredulous.
You sound skeptical. It's not that complicated. All that's required is a more robust understanding of cause and effect. Besides, I've been to Kotla, though not quite as far north as the Hjemdal, and watched northern lights travel across the sky. Very unique, energetic tides there.
It's for the best, because Eamdal is not a real place, and thus he could not have gone there. His theory isn't exactly incoherent, but its logic does suggest some unusual neural activity. Interesting.
How much are you selling this t-shirt for?
2 real.
2 real?
That's dirt cheap.
Could you give it to me for free then? Cool, I'll think about it. Let's just ask. What else can happen?
But why?
Because I'm a broke cop without a cent to my name. Perhaps I would repay you in some other way. I guess I can't really think of any good reason. Perhaps I could repay you in some other way?
I deal in goods, not services.
Well, alright then. Let's buy it. +1 physical instrument, +1 shivers, -2 authority. Sure, let's buy
Welcome
it.
to Hjemdal, officer.
Can't hurt. Anything else in this shop? Oh, what's up there?
The boomboxes on the shelf look well-loved and well-traveled. Chipped, dented, they stare at you with the unblinking eyes of their tape reels.
Let's stand on the tips of our toes to see more.
One especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic with a big old handle on top. A classic boombox that says Stereo 8 approved. Just make sure it works before you buy it.
Shopkeep, the Stereo 8 approved machine here. What I really want to know is, could this device come handy in my police work? Are you sure this is all in working order?
Absolutely. I've tested each one myself with recordings of speech, found sounds and music from a variety of genres. Even though I don't really like music.
That's odd. Why doesn't he like music?
Don't like music? What do you like then?
The stuff I record myself. Silverware shaking in drawers as motor cars race by. Nocturnal animals climbing on the roof. Airship rotors. That kind of thing.
Maybe you should ditch music as well. Get into these more experimental sounds he's describing.
Shopkeep. This Stereo 8 approved machine here.
Is the Harman Welsh W2, made in Vespa, designed in Seoul, plays all reel-to-reel formats, 2mm, 8mm, 12mm. It's even got a little radio in there. It'll set you back 12 real.
I think we don't have to pay rent anymore, so sure, why not? We found this tape, right? We can just take that, right? Yeah.
And here you are, quality sound reproduction on the go. It'll play anything, wherever, turn any tape into a conversation of sounds and shapes.
Wonderful. So, now that we have that, did we find some tape? Yeah. I suppose we have to equip that, put that in our hands. We don't need the thing at the moment. Interact.
The porter reel is just what you needed. The reel's attached to the apparatus with a satisfying click. The tape is routed behind the magnetic reader.
Let's press play on tape.
You press the large button marked Commencer, and the tape starts spinning. There's a small delay before the song starts playing.
Let's keep the porter reel at the harmless distance and wait.
Then the organ starts playing a simple, melancholic tune echoing in the hallway. A lone singing voice joins in, telling you about the tiniest church in Cessons, surrounded by even tinier yard. You almost feel the seaside mist on your skin. It's mega sad. A click, then silence for a bit. Then the tape stops spinning. Nothing to do with this right now.
Well, let's remove the tape then.
Immediately, the boombox tunes itself back to the Friday night beats, vibrating on your shoulder.
Okay. Whenever we find something like that, well, now at least we can listen to it. I will, in the meantime, equip the crowbar again. I don't know why, it's just become the de facto thing to have. I think we've learned enough about that. Get yourself organized. You can't build communism alone. Oh, right, it's that one. Right! Sniff out some comrades. Yeah, of course, that's why we're sniffing things. I remember. Help Suna with her project, yes. But for that we need to upgrade something. Was it... what was it? I'm gonna have to look back into the last episode and find out what stat that was, or we could walk over there and then decide. But we'll do that when we have another skill point at the ready. We could also just change over some clothes that we have to fix that. But I think I'll do that some other time. Seems main questy, and yeah, I'll save that for a stream, I think. Oh, what's going on here? Fuck the world?
That's one brutal motor carriage.
Says the young man with... I'm not gonna say that, written on his back.
If I were a real skull now, I'd jack it, paint it in palm tree livery, then bottom light it, neon style.
His companion wears a simple yet elegant slogan, fuck the world.
A snazzy shit-ripped skullmobile like this would make a fine trophy. We could, like, hang fucking shrunken heads from the side mirrors. Cops' heads. Scary tribal shit.
Yeah, tribal shit. A cop carriage like this would have proper skull value.
While I appreciate the interest you take in my brutal motor carriage, I have to stop you right there. The RCM takes threats directed at its property seriously.
It's just theoretical work, Copper. No basis in reality. Man, if we were certified skulls right now...
Skulls. Now there's a strong organizational title.
Who are you?
I can tell you who we're not, cop. We're not snitches or skulls.
Which is not to say that the skulls are bitches and... On the contrary.
The part of this presentation you want to take home with you, cop man, is we're not part of the skulls yet.
Okay then, let's indulge in some intellectual exchange. These young men seem eager to share their beliefs.
Who are the skulls?
You don't know? What kind of cop are you?
It's not a question. Don't get into it.
Of course I do, I'm just testing you boys.
The skulls are the most vicious gang of the Besmertne.
His voice rings with excitement.
Besmetine, or the Besmeti, the Immortals, are West River Sholian crime syndicates.
The nastiest bunch of psychos ever. Jacking carriages and getting into high-speed chases.
Possessing an infinite amount of fuck-all swagger, infamous for their non-verbal modus operandi.
Let's say nothing.
They usually occupy the burnt-out quarter in Jamrock, or you can find them loitering around their brightly painted bottom-lighted vehicles.
I can't wait to become a skull. Bottom lights are wretched aggressive.
Do you know anything about the murder that took place here? Point to the art. Do you guys know Cindy the Skull? What's with the jackets? Do you guys know Cindy the Skull?
Oh yeah, Cindy's a right proper skull.
The young man's eyes glaze over, his voice filled with longing.
Yeah, a true artist of the future. Just like Arno van Eyck.
By the way, if you see Cindy, give her our regards.
He adds, returning from whatever void he was just visiting.
For all their nihilistic posturing, these young men are not lacking in youthful idealism. The lieutenant on your left is unusually lenient toward them.
Why aren't there more skulls in Martinez? Your rhetoric is confusing. Are you a part of skulls or not? Why aren't there more skulls in Martinez?
The Union does their share of policing in Martinez, at least where gangs are concerned. That's why there isn't much organized crime around here.
Apart from the unions themselves, of course.
Don't you worry about that. We're gonna make up for the deficit.
Yeah, we are.
The young men exchange approving nods. I see you kids are into modern dance music. That's gonna make us sound real old. But sure.
Oh man, yeah. We're not fucking kids, man.
Be wary of the abyss.
His blonde friend adds ominously and points to his temple. Why?
It's a threat. An impotent threat of violence.
A threat? Good, I like those. Don't fuck with me, boys. I'm one of the bad cops. I just wanted to talk about music, and now there's a conflict all of a sudden. It's too much. A threat? Good, I like those.
But I don't. In fact, I dislike them so much I'm willing to drag you boys back to the station just to calm myself down.
Hey, there's no need for that. We're just talking here. Joking too. Stay light, man.
Yeah. Didn't you cops, like, have some questions about skulls or some shit?
Your rhetoric is confusing. Are you a part of the skulls or not? I mean, we know that they want to be skulls but aren't. Enough of this scullery then. Do you know anything about the murder that took place here? Pointing to the yard. Let's ask about the jackets first.
What about them?
Why does your jacket have written on it? Why do you have "fuck the world" written on your jacket? I'll go with that one.
Like I said before, many men keep searching for the one, for so-called true love, which is actually just obsession masquerading as kinship. The thrill of the chase, the hollowness that fills your chest cavity after catching it.
I'm wondering if the poetics come with the jacket, or are they derived from something else entirely?
To catch a fish, you'll need to hurl the lure many times, and even then it isn't certain that you'll get anything. If you blow up the lake, though...
That's a terrible metaphor.
You get more fish in a shorter time. And, for time is of the essence and fleeting ever so quickly, one must think of a way to fuck the whole world and not get caught up in fucking some one. Because when one fucks everything, he fucks nothing. And that, to me, feels glorious. Sticking your dick into the void.
Hate to admit it, but in a weird way, he's got a point.
Okay, let's ask about that. Don't really like using slurs, but we're
Well,
gonna ask
first
about
off, it's a statement and not necessarily something that characterizes me as a person, even though the statement has character. And I do like piss. The word piss epitomizes the struggle taking place in the world. Things being defined as they seem, not as they are. And, I guess, it's also about communal spirit, the future, and truly appreciating our differences. Also, you've got to admit, it catches the eye. And since the Grand Piper is slowly but steadily moving towards basing the economy on it, attention, it is imperative that the medium itself convey the message.
What?
What I mean by this is, we are all piss and that the world is inherently meaningless.
It seems that the young man has a certain expertise in at least one field, even if it's rather narrow. Is it a coincidence that here we have 2 badass jackets and 2 badass cops?
Hey, Kim,
Yes?
do you think it's Oh wait, I misunderstood the situation. Yeah, okay, so now it's gonna be, now let's ask him what he thinks about their jackets.
Leather jackets adorned with immature writing? The ideology they convey helps the boys justify poor choices in life and fashion. I'm not a fan.
I don't really want the jackets either, you know? I think they kind of suck. But I clicked that and after misreading the prompt. Sure, cool possibilities.
What are you implying?
Which one would you wear?
I'm not sure I understand you, detective.
Oh, nothing,
You
don't
wanted
worry
to know
about it.
which jacket I'd wear, right? Neither. I'd wear neither.
Come on, Kim, it's just a mental exercise.
Fine. If only to end this discussion. Theoretically, if I were a juvenile delinquent, if I were to already be down that path, I think peace is the stronger of the two statements.
That works. I feel more like a fuck the world kind of guy.
Seems about right, especially considering your heroic exit attempts.
That's an origin story for a dynamic duo right there.
Sure is.
So are we done here? Or you don't need us around for your secret whisper party, do you?
Do you know anything about the murder that took place here?
Murder?
A man was hanged in the backyard of the Whirling in Regs.
Yeah, sure. We'll gladly tell you everything we know about it. It was a man.
Also, he was hanged.
Anything else?
He was hanged from a tree.
Yeah, I mean, duh.
These punks don't know anything. Let's just move along.
Hey, stop right there. How does one know anything?
Ah, this sounds like epistemology, a field so occupied by thought that it begins to question thought itself.
I know that you don't know shit. I'm not going to entertain you with this any longer. I know that you don't know shit.
Exactly. How can one know shit? For example, how can one be sure that there truly is a body hanging behind a hostel?
What if it's art? Or just a mere specter?
Maybe it's true. The hanged man is merely a prop in a performance. We are the audience, and the artist is hiding somewhere in the dark.
That could be the case, yes, a brilliant work of art. It's not, a man is dead and we need answers. Let's just humor them for a second.
No reply. The blonde rebel scratches his chin. deliberately not focusing his gaze on anything. He looks very uncomfortable.
The lieutenant raises an eyebrow but does not comment. I don't want the jackets. I'm gonna be honest, I just don't want them. Well, talking with you has definitely been something. Okay, so we have those guys now. Standing around, hopefully not stealing the car. That would be unfortunate. Let's go back down here. Because I just kind of want this to finally be something.
A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black.
Okay, 97% chance. I think last time we failed that one, but that one was ages ago. I think it's finally time to try it again.
Something breaks loose in you. A mighty bellow echoes throughout the chimney's depths. The chatter of tiny voices above suddenly cease. Then,
Hello?
You hear a woman's voice answer. This is the police. Who's there? I summon the ghost of this doomed commercial area. Answer me, spirit. Hello, are you there? Speak to me.
Hello? Did you say anything? I can't hear you. Please come upstairs. There's a safety curtain on the second floor. I'll open it.
you hear a low rumble upstairs. The sound of a curtain being pulled aside.
Well, let's go there then.
After you, officer.
Okay, I'm not gonna kick it, because I know what happens when I kick it, because I've done it. Right, we have to click the stairs, of course. Okay, flashlight, 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 that's gonna be important. There we go. Oops. Alright, now we can actually see again. Huh. There it is. Oh, it's actually pretty nice in here. This tray is full of dice. Colorful polyhedral dice, hundreds of them. The candy dispenser has been repurposed to contain thousands of dice. Are you affiliated with the people that were doing this roleplay game outside? I guess that would make sense with all the dice. Let's talk to you.
Hello, I'm Nia.
A bird-like woman sits on a throne of tools with emerald lights shining through her hair. Okay.
Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Melius.
She taps on her headphones.
So what kind of die are you looking for?
She's got a direct view to the backyard. You should interrogate her about the lynching.
Hold on, what do you mean by milieux?
Yes, a Milieu is like a call-in station. You need a two-way radio to access one. That's why I have these.
She pats the headphones on the table.
Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. I was so absorbed, I must have missed you knocking.
You must have me confused with someone else. I haven't knocked on your window.
Then how did you get inside? By the south entrance? You know what? It doesn't even matter. What matters is that you're finally here. Let's talk dice. Did you have something specific in mind?
Why are you asking me about dice?
I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you need. That's why you're here, yes?
As she speaks, her bone-like fingers fiddle with a ring. Her bones light, but her hands strong.
Sure, I like role-playing games and I need some dice. Maybe. I'm not really sure why I'm here, honestly. No, I was looking for something else. Squinty eyes mysteriously answers. I'm not interested in buying dice right now. I'm a police officer and I need to ask some questions. Maybe. I'm not really sure why I'm here, honestly.
How strange. Well, if you're interested, my rate is 10 real per set. Unless you want something really unusual. Take a look around and see if there is any particular stone you want to use.
The walls around her are covered with rows of precious stones and minerals.
It almost looks as if the stones and dice are a natural part of the room, growing out of the shells like stalagmites. No falsehoods are present. She's a novelty dice maker and doesn't have anything to hide. Ask what you need.
How did you become a dice maker?
How did I become one? It was a business decision. I was a regular jeweler at first, but that's an unfocused field with too much competition. Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to make some polyhedral dice out of cobalt. That was my first order. I grew it from there.
Do you like role-playing games yourself?
Not especially. I like working with rare materials and a steady pay. And role players as customers? They're nice people.
Some of those nice people have big bucks to spend on novelty items.
Okay, I'd like to order a die from you. I'll do that later, I think. What do you know about the man who was lynched behind the whirling in rags?
Nothing really. I didn't know him.
The lieutenant looks at his notebook, then the woman under the large window.
Your window looks directly onto the courtyard. You're saying you didn't see or hear anything unusual last Sunday evening?
I'm sorry, detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruckus behind my window.
What do you mean by the daily ruckus?
Well, there's always something going on in the Whirling's backyard.
She stops to try and come up with an example.
During daytime, there are usually those kids. And lately, I've been seeing a lot of drunk workers hanging about. Must be because of the strike.
She's heard of the murder, but did not see it, sire.
I can believe that.
But I never saw anyone during that fateful Sunday night, I'm afraid.
And you never took your eyes off the work to look out of the window?
I might have, but in this case, all I would have seen is my own reflection staring back from the darkness.
It's light here, but dark in the yard at night.
It's really hard to make anything out in the yard when it's dark outside. Besides, I rarely get up to look out the window when I'm in the zone.
This person values focus above all. She keeps her sharp sight on the instruments before her.
Do you often work Sunday nights?
It's an odd profession, making dice for people. But I like it, and I prefer doing this to sitting at home.
I see. Thank you for your answers.
She nods.
Anything else, officer?
Hey, where are we anyways? What is this place?
We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know.
She looks at the ruddy bricks that make up the walls. Even though they've been repainted, there are still signs of coal-black soot here and there.
But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build myself a makeshift home. Besides, I don't really have to pay any rent here, so that's a plus.
Well, that's good, yeah. The lieutenant looks around the spacious room, its ceiling fading into shadows above.
When she arrived here, there was no room anywhere else. She must have known the other businesses.
I've heard this place is cursed. Did you know that people call it the doomed commercial area?
I've heard the stories, but I don't think those stories are true.
Wait, how do you explain what happened to all the companies then? Pleasance is the one who sent me. She's convinced that the place is swarming with malicious energies.
Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energies spared her somehow?
Plaisance is a wise woman. She has Seminese trinkets protecting her against the curse. Actually, the bookstore isn't doing that well. There are hardly any customers, and she has to exploit her own daughter to keep the company going. The curse is just biding its time before it strikes again. Sooner or later, everyone will fail, even her. I don't know why the bookstore hasn't gone bankrupt yet. That's what I'm here to investigate. I mean, I don't know how well it's doing. We've seen one or two people around there. Talking to Plaisance was a while ago. I don't quite remember all the ins and outs of that conversation. Let's just say it isn't doing that well.
All right. But it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the whirling in rags? Some people say it's part of the building complex.
Hold on, the Whirling in Rags is part of the doomed commercial area? Yes, but it's still a separate building. The malicious energies can't reach there. No, the Whirling isn't doing well either. Its waitress just took off and customers are having trouble paying bills. You're right, the Whirling doesn't really look like it's cursed. Yeah, I mean, someone was murdered in the backyard, but I don't really want to go down a route of believing in that curse because I don't think there's anything to it. So I'll go with that one.
And then there is me.
She sighs, looking at her messy work table. All kinds of tools lie there scattered, from knives to carving files to wire cutters.
I've been here for 14 years, selling novelty dice to role-playing enthusiasts. Not exactly a million-real business idea, yet somehow I've survived despite the talk of malicious energies. Strange, isn't it?
Maybe it's just because she's so talented that she's been able to woo the curse.
Plaisance thinks it's because you're the source of it, a malignant entity. It's because you're competent and dedicated to your craft. The curse doesn't affect people like you. The curse will get you, have no doubt about it. It just doesn't care about earthly time frames. I'll be the first to admit there are many inconsistencies in this so-called curse, yeah.
I was just about to ask, what do you think? Do you think the curse is real?
I think it still might be you that's causing this. I'm starting to see that there is no curse, only business decisions and natural market fluctuations. Honestly, I'm still not sure. I'm starting to see that there's no curse, yeah.
Exactly. Truth is always so disappointingly mundane and boring. But I'm glad we got this sorted out. Anything else I can help you with today?
That's all she has to say on the subject. She's been thorough and truthful, as far as we could see.
Okay, we could ask what happened to the other tenants, or we could try a Shivers roll. We might get some more plus points for that if we ask more. Do you know what happened to the other tenants? Everyone else is gone.
More or less. Are you interested in anyone specific?
She adjusts the yellow scarf that covers her hair.
Oh, quite a lot of them spring to mind.
There used to be a hair salon here, right?
Yes, I think it was called Androgynous Orlando or something similar. They weren't a big hit around here. Turns out that working class men don't like genderless haircuts. They're scared of that word.
You wouldn't like it either. The others would laugh at you. A bit of experimenting every now and then isn't bad.
True.
It's not about the haircut. It's about the confidence.
What's wrong with a bit of experimenting? The customers should have been more open-minded. I would never let anyone androgynous touch my hair, not even if my life depended on it. I guess I'm a simple man. I don't really have any opinions on hairstyles. What's wrong with a bit of experimenting?
I guess it just wasn't the time yet.
She tucks a strand of hair under the headscarf. What happened to the gym?
It wasn't merely a gym, it was Artemitep's boxing club. A community project created to steer at-risk youth away from drugs and crime.
And who was Artemitep?
A kind man from Zemsk. I heard he had some trouble with the law when he was younger, and that's why he wanted to start the gym, as his way of giving back.
Maybe that's what Kuno needs, a community-centric boxing club. How did that community project work out? Judging from the kids I've met so far, it didn't really work out, did it? Maybe that's what Kuno needs?
Kuno? Who's Kuno?
He's sort of the king around here. He's a little ginger gremlin who likes to defile dead bodies. Indeed, who is Kuno? Your guess is as good as mine. Let's go with that one.
Oh yes, You mean the kid with the sailor's mouth? Yes, I've heard him yelling profanities in the backyard.
She looks out of the window. It's oddly quiet there at the moment.
I think it would take more than a gym to help that kid.
Yeah, probably. How did that community project work out?
It didn't. If anything, it made the youth situation in Martinez even worse. At some point, someone started a rumor that the punching bag downstairs was full of amphetamines.
You should have known it. It's not really full of that. No one would store their drugs like that.
Eventually, the coalition took away the funding and the club went bankrupt. This was a few years ago. It's gotten much more peaceful around the plaza ever since.
What's up with the broken windows?
Oh, this one's a mess. There used to be a company that promised to repair windows 24 hours a day. What could go wrong with this one, right? Turns out, the business was actually set up as a front for an illicit group that was producing snuff milieux. Who would have guessed?
What's the snuff milieu?
Doesn't sound
And
good.
they never cleaned up the debris either. Now it's just littering the hallway and I have no idea how to get rid of it on my own.
Cool. Very cool about the debris, but what's a snuff milieu? That's a shame about those windows. I'm not even going to ask about that milieu. Let's ask about it.
It's a sub-Rosa radio station that broadcasts real murders with real victims. Some people pay good money to get off on it.
Nothing changes in her tone as she says that, as if it's just another piece of information to lay out for the world. What does she mean to get off on it?
I don't know if we should go into the finer details of that.
Don't worry, the ICP has a separate division that deals exclusively with unlicensed sub-roses. This isn't our problem.
Good luck with that. It's not easy catching those perpetrators.
Then she lets the thought go. Did someone here make stuffed animals? I saw mounts lying
I
around.
mean Mr. Fabron, the taxidermist. No, he mostly just did drugs.
But what drugs exactly?
I need to know what drugs he was doing for my police report.
He got high on some weird taxidermy chemicals. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Eventually, they caused him to lose control of his bladder. The smell was awful.
Oh yeah, that seems like it would. Yeah.
Even you can probably do better than that.
I sure hope so. I found creepy mannequins.
There used to be a fashion atelier here, but I have forgotten the head designer's name. They were doing well for a couple of years, until the insect rights activists came.
Insect rights activists? What in the name of... I didn't know insects had any rights or activists. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
the atelier didn't know it either. They produced a certain collection that used chitin among the materials. Apparently chitin is made in the Occident, where it's extracted from beetle wings. And you know how all kinds of political movements are big in the Occident. The activists shut down the biggest chitin supplier, which of course caused the price to skyrocket. And, naturally, all the most fashionable tastemakers refused to be seen in chitin from then on. The atelier went bankrupt before they could finish the collection.
I'm glad that someone took care of the little guys. I like insects, but insects don't have any brains or feelings. They got what they deserved. Making clothes out of beetle wings is a terrible idea. Yeah, honestly,
At least it had
probably
some
is.
spark to it. Most young designers just combine lace with leather and call it original.
She shifts in her simple workwear shirt.
As she shifts around, you notice several dead flies on the windowsill in front of her. Legs up. They're not moving.
Anything else?
What's with the rotor blades and skis?
They were made by a company called Slipstream. After they pivoted from making rotor blades to skis, their chief executive took off on a vacation with all their money.
She rests her chin on her hand with an impish smile.
Honestly, I think it's quite funny. I think he's still sending out holiday transmissions from Tulula or Tiumotiri or Hashtkor or wherever he is.
Interesting. What do these transmissions say? That's illegal, running off with companies' money like that. Why hasn't he been arrested? Yeah, probably because he's just somewhere, nobody knows where exactly. So, what do these transmissions say?
The usual, I imagine. That he's been thinking up all kinds of new business plans and can't wait to get started on them just as soon as he returns.
Her smile widens before she sees the lieutenant's face behind you.
Men like that are a curse.
And the lieutenant is stern.
Sure, but Slipstream is history now. All their remaining assets got seized by the bailiffs in 47. I have no idea why those skis and blades are still lying around in the house. Not much use now, I guess.
They were just the props. Why return them? Maybe you could make a sword out of one. No, wait, forget it. It would take too long.
There was a terrifying taxidermied bear in the cellar.
Oh boy, the fabled Revachol ICT. You're in for a treat here.
She smiles and leans closer, hands on her knees, like a stand-up comedian ready to tell a story.
The place was owned by two guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing. The bear was one of them. Now ask me about their other ideas.
Okay.
Indeed. What were the other ideas?
Alright, what about the other ideas?
There was really just one, and it involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood and paying them 20 cents per hour to man the booth. And by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored magazine browsing.
She leans back disapprovingly.
Fritte does the same thing.
I know a girl just like that. She works in Frit as a cashier, and she's not particularly friendly. What did they expect? 20 cents per hour is dog's pay. I'm surprised they showed up to work at all. That's an award-winning idea. How else do you choose people around you? I don't have an opinion on employing teens. I just want to know, did it work out for the business? What did they expect? 20 cents per hour is dog's pay.
Oh, but they did. They did show up to work, and not alone. There were also acne-ridden girlfriends and gorilla-like boyfriends loitering near the ice cream stand. And they already had the bear.
She closes her eyes as if remembering something painful. What about the bear?
The bear.
She repeats, pressing thumbs into her temples, like trying to suppress a headache. It didn't work out?
Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile apex predator. To make matters worse, the fridge didn't work too well either, and half the ice cream came out malformed and partially melted. Eventually, Ravishell Ice City lost the price war to its rival, Glacé 5000. Glacé 5000 sold caramel sundaes for only 5 cents apiece, out of regular fridges.
Not solemnly. It's the market doing its job. I'm sure the bear was doing its best. The bear was scary. Every time I saw that bear, I felt scared, like it could become alive any moment now. I'm sure the bear was doing its best.
Maybe, because the taxidermist who made that bear definitely wasn't. Doing his best, I mean.
How come?
He said that the bear was his vision beast. He said he met his vision beast while high on desiccants. Called it Megatherian.
Sounds cool.
Megatherian? What's a vision beast? Very cool, but I don't want to hear about bears anymore. Let's move on. Okay, Megatherian?
Megatherian. A mega wild beast.
What's a mega wild beast?
It's an imaginary beast that guides you through life. By telling you to do more drugs, mostly.
A wise and noble beast, guiding you toward the land where the streets are paved with drugs.
I don't do drugs. I do drugs. I've got a vision beast myself. I don't have a comment on drugs.
Understandable. You shouldn't do them. You're a police officer after all.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, now you know the story of the fallen ice cream empire.
She seems almost sad finishing the story. Some dust beams swirl in the morning light. Her eyes follow it idly.
Little sparkling embers under the window. Outside its light, Light scatters from the low-hanging cloud cover. There's always the threat of snow.
Anything else? Another failed business, perhaps? I've been here for a long time.
Actually, I had other questions.
Good. I hope it clarified things a bit. What else?
Okay, I'd like to order a die from you. Has that made it better? No, it hasn't. But we have the money at the moment.
Of course. Tell me what you have in mind.
Do you know the Viral Untethered setting? I want a die for that. Do you have any cursed dice? Tell me about your most extraordinary die. I'm sorry, I don't actually know what die I want. Just a normal die for me, please. Very regular. I'm looking for something to help with my work. Actually, I need time to think about it. Do you have any cursed dice?
What do you mean by cursed?
As cursed as this commercial area, as cursed as my life, ad abra perished like this world.
Alright, how about I surprise you? Come back in 8 hours with 7 real, and I'll give you your cursed die.
Okay, it's a deal, sure.
Great, see you in 8 hours then. Was there anything else?
Let's try the shivers thing. I mean, we're probably not gonna succeed it, but hey. Let's give it a shot.
You feel nothing. If anything, it's uncomfortably warm in here.
Let's leave it at that. Let's not make it awkward.
She has begun to idly clean one of her carving tools with a dirty kerchief. The tool's sharp edge shining in the light of her desk lamp.
Alright. Let's leave for now. We can do the shivers again later anyways. Let's try to talk to Plaisance about this. Hopefully I'm not like ruining the dice maker's business, because to be honest I find her much more likable than Plaisance. Oop, what do we have here? It's the contact... is this contact Mike the boxing champion? Who knows? Okay, we can't check for amphetamines. Though, of course, there most likely wouldn't be any in there. Looks like Jérôme Le Million, that hair poster. Ah, okay. So we learned a lot of things since going down here, and now some other things. Well, and now we recognize some things. Okay, let's talk to Plaisance.
What have you found? And also, do buy the books. There may be teachings in them.
I talked to the entity you told me about. Her name is Neha and she's a novelty dice maker.
A novelty dice maker? Well, spit it out. Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use the ankle bones of sheep.
She's not a sorceress or some malicious entity. She's a businesswoman like you. No, ma'am, I have felt her aura. She is not the one to blame for this curse. She may be involved, but I don't have a way to question the malignant entity further. To make her believe it, we're gonna have to do that. I felt the aura. She is not the one to blame for this curse.
I don't understand. If it's not her, then where is the source of the doom? How did she explain the curse?
We could pin it on, like, the ice bear fridge.
The narrative she's built herself, it does need tearing down.
Yeah, probably.
She's squeezing on the pendant too tight. A drop of blood in her palm.
She says there is no curse because there are too many inconsistencies. We could say the source is in the taxidermist's shop. He became involved in arts darker than taxidermy and brought the void spirits down upon this place. There is another entity, more malignant, pulling the strings in Martinez. Perhaps in my travels I will cross paths with it. She's not gonna believe us when we say there isn't a curse. She's gonna see that as proof of the curse, and we are no part of that, right? She's gonna see us as agents of evil of the curse, and will only be more set in her ways if we say that, I think. We could pin it on the taxidermist, yeah? I don't think any ill consequences would arise from that for anyone we know or care about. Or we could say that we're gonna look into it. Let's pin it on the taxidermist.
Oh, how horrid! I knew something wasn't right about that place. Tell me, did you find a way to break the curse?
Yes, I performed the ancient Seminese dispelling rites. This commercial area is doomed no more. Yes, I called upon the spirit of Jérôme Le Million to banish the curse in a flash of disco brilliance. Yeah, I de-spooked it. The curse is definitely gone. I'm afraid that I can only identify the source, but you have to call some other experts to lift the curse. Sure, I performed the ancient Seminese dispelling rites. Sure.
Of course. I trust my Seminese wards and charms kept you safe while you perform the ancient rites.
She looks at you with sudden admiration. Yeah, of course they
All
did.
that matters is that the energies are retreating. I can already feel the curse lifting. It will be a long time until we're fully free of it, of course, but still.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you, officer. Truly, you've brought a better psycho-emanation to this humble bookstore, and that's no small achievement.
She so badly wants this to be over. She would have believed anything.
I don't think she would have believed us about the curse not being real. But well, maybe who knows? But generally speaking, people tend to not want to be wrong about something for years, because that's a really uncomfortable feeling. So let's just continue on now.
Alright then. All's well that ends well. Should we return to our ordinary lives?
I could buy a
Then
book.
why are you talking to me? Everything is on the shelves to browse. Don't you feel compelled to buy anything? See those shelves there? Go. Be drawn.
Okay, I'll take another look
She
then.
smiles and nods, seemingly relieved.
Farewell for now, book peddler. Okay, anything interesting here? What do we have here?
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by Wirral-related merchandise.
Let's look through the Wirral-related items.
An endless variety of source books, lore books, and codices litter the table. The topmost book is titled Welkin Compendium, 2nd edition. There's also a large hardbound tome with intricate cover art, The Hunters of Catawak, Boreal Creature Compendium, and a Pick Your Path adventure game book titled Tales of Wirral, Cavern of Velkrag. Books in a board game section? Who wants to read books?
Anything that really catches my eye? Maybe I'm not into this binocular stuff. Anything that really catches my eye?
There's a box that says Wirral, 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplements Module. The side panel notes, a fantastique adventure board game, new maps and miniatures. A sticker on it displays 25 real. That price is steep, but then it's the 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplement, so it makes sense.
But it's a supplement, so I assume like the base game is probably not in there, so...
Nonsense for anemic Beano-clads.
Let's not buy that right now. That seems a bit steep, yeah. Let's look at that shelf over there. Old sports magazines tucked away in a dark corner. What do we have here? The book collects the national recipes of Ada. They are all about... Did that say lake worms? Or did I misread that? I didn't quite catch all of it, I fear. What do we have here? A quaint picture book brochure, very colorful. It's a tome of fascist magic, rather candid. Sounds horrible.
The plaque on the shelf reads, Biographies of Famous People. You see a large variety of names, none of which ring a bell.
Let's look through the display of books.
Browsing through all the books with all their names makes your head spin. None of these seem important or relevant. It's all just vapid egoism. Suddenly, a particularly odd title catches your eye. It reads, High Speed Love, the tragic true love story of Jacob Irv and Alfie Delatraz, by one Cecilia Averbrook.
What's it about?
High Speed Love chronicles the romance between two of the finest tip-top tournée racers in history. One of them is the madcap driver, Jacob Irv. His blonde mane graces the cover. Next to Irv's life story, you see a slim biography of an Occidental rock star called the Anti-Star. He's famous for shooting morphine into one of his eyeballs and cocaine into the other.
Seems like a great idea.
Next to that, Rivasholian radio personality Guillaume Bevy stands in front of a rundown drug den. He's a permanent fixture on Channel 8, reporting on real-life crime and ruining cops' days.
I really must insist you buy one of the books. Reading them is not for free. Do still browse though, but not too long.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to rush you. You are browsing. Go ahead. Take your time. Time is commerce.
Shopkeep, anything of note in this shelf?
I would say... The Greatest Innocence. Yes, most certainly. It's an important educational tool, delving into the depths of history, religion, and their relation to innocentic power.
Is that like about, what was her name? Dolores Day? I almost said Doris Day, but that's someone else, isn't it? Who or what is an innocence?
A very influential historical figure. But surely I don't have to tell you that. You're a law officer, and law officers have at least some education. The book is also very daring. The author aims to re-examine the universal understandings of the innocentic system, creating a fresh vantage point and a shift in the tired order of things.
I thought it was about which of these innocences is the coolest and greatest. So you recommend it? I thought it was about which of these innocences, etc.
Perhaps for a layman, deep analysis is necessary to peel back the multi-layered meanings.
Do her words seem vague and abstract to you?
So you recommend it?
Certainly. It's prudent for a person to have at least an elementary understanding of history and society. Imagine the chaos we'd be in otherwise.
You feel like you should get this one? Definitely. It's important somehow. There's something personal inside.
Sure, let's buy it.
A true cultural touchstone. Enjoy the read.
Okay. I will not rush to read it though, because I know that reading it advances the time, and we're already on day 4. So we should at some point solve the murder, right? Another boring book, just discard it here. Okay. And in here?
This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature.
Let's look through the shelf.
Amidst the various books, you find one written by someone named Matthias W. Dundas. It's about wholeness, unity, balance. These 3 things are very important to the working class mind. The point of the book, and many others on this shelf, is to give people medicinal advice in situations where they don't have access to paid health services.
How does that work?
It serves platitudes, while also telling everyone that traditional medicine, the kind people don't have access to, and which costs more than this book, is garbage, and would only give you cancer anyway, without even curing your cold or anything.
Wonderful.
Wholeness, unity, balance, on the other hand, can basically take care of anything. Though it is important to note, when it's up to your mind to heal yourself, then it's because of your mind that you're ill in the first place.
Does the book say anything else?
The book features chapters on topics such as how to find magnesium. It even lists plants you can harvest magnesium from. How to continue drinking if you're an alcoholic who has destroyed his liver. And there's even a chapter on the ancient Seraïs tradition of using duck gallbladder preservatives to treat and prevent sexually transmitted diseases. Pre and post factum apply. Nothing worth buying.
Okay, storekeep, what books are these?
Sir, please, no browsing in that shelf. That wisdom is not for free. I can't have you end up, like, opening a police store next door and stealing my customers. Oh no!
What the hell would a police store be? Okay, let's leave for now. We bought a book, and everyone knows the most interesting thing about fascists was their magic. Absolutely. Oh, we didn't look into this shelf.
These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series. You see the name Dick Mullen over and over. A couple of spook novels hide amidst all the detective books. Thrilling tales of spycraft and daring do.
Storekeep, what's all this crime fiction? Let's look through it first.
Crime fiction is a disgrace. An asinine misrepresentation of the physical attributes of the arduous everyday work of actual police officers. These books greatly overstate the excitement of police work, glossing over how long it takes to actually follow up on leads and eliminate dead ends. What's more, they completely ignore the psychological hardships of year after year coming into contact with people during the worst days of their lives. Not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the truth at all. Now, would you like a list of all the books found on the shelf?
Sure thing. Go ahead.
You see Dick Mullen on the job. Get Me Mullen. The Stalwart Adventures of Richard P. Mullen. Dick Mullen and the Murder in the Orchard. The Sordid Affair of Dick Mullen. A killing is declared. Dick Mullen in the Murder House. The Final Case of Dick Mullen. An Obvious Lie. Dick Mullen in the Clock Tower. The Ordeals of Dick Mullen. Dauntless Dick. Dick Mullen's Funeral Pyre. The Murder of Dick Mullen.
Dick Mullen dies?
Oh no. Turns out he fated to solve a case.
Are there any more? Okay, let's stop now. Are there any more?
Yes. There's also The Dame Who Did It. Farewell, My Mullen. Faking death seems to be a common trope in the Mullen series. The morbid tales of Dick Mullen. A dark tide turns. Tragedy calls for Dick Mullen. Another one with fake death. And, of course, Dick Mullen, the murderer. In order to catch a murderer, Dick Mullen must become the murderer. After all this, you still haven't found the answer to the one question that matters. Who is Dick Mullen?
Well, who is Dick Mullen? 72% chance, that's good enough for me. Let's give it a shot.
Your quick eye notices a small caterpillar crawling across the spine of a book. The title reads, Dick Mullen and the Mistaken Identity.
What do we have here? Mistaken
A
Identity?
worn paperback from Dick Mullen's classic hard-boiled phase. The premise seems to be that Dick Mullen is framed for the murder of his best friend and has just a few days to prove his innocence.
Why does this speak to me?
Could it be the motifs of unstable identities and shocking betrayals?
That's probably right. I'm a complicated guy full of contradictions. No, it's gotta be something else. Probably right.
Then this is the book for you.
$7.99. I could get a really good dice for that. A really good die. I mean, of course. Storekeep, what's all this crime fiction?
Oh, crime, robberies, murders, even sexual crimes. We're fortunate to have Dick Mullen and his stories to sort all that out. You're a police officer, apparently. You should buy all of these. They really do teach a person how to be a proper detective.
Screw it, let's buy one of them. It's expensive, but I don't have to pay rent.
Such violence and immorality. I mean, enjoy.
Okay, and I think that's it for the store here. So let's quickly step outside. And yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a day here. Yeah. When this airs, stream should be going already. My router is there. It just has to be activated, but we need to... Well, but until that's done, those episodes are here to tide us over. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Maybe live again. Goodbye.